And we are going to start standing today, as you know, we often did, past tense, in the classes. It's just a great way to really check in the sort of the before and after photo. So when we stand up, and I invite you to come into just your regular stance. If you're not sure if it's brand new, just walk around a little bit and let yourself come to just a stop, how you would stop if you met a friend or you're standing at the store. What does that look like? And then begin by first get a sense of, are you bringing more weight onto one foot than the other? What is your stance? Are you maybe leaning forward or back? Are you toe riders? I call that, that's my term. And ideally, we want more weight into the heels rather than the toes. We talked about a long time ago, red light, green light. So if we have a tendency to really push the pelvis forward, that would be the green light reflex. But if we are really congested on the front, that'd be more of the attention on the front body. And of course, the hips is the hub for everything. With the hands on your pelvis bones, gauge just one right a little higher than the other. And you can shift the hips from side to side. I'm simply just lifting my heels up. I'm not bending my knees. And I get a sense of the mobility. Is it even from one side to the other? So as you lift one heel and then the other, what does it feel like on the pelvis? This bowl literally translates to a bowl or chalice. I kind of like chalice better because it makes it sound very sacred. We want this bowl to be neutral so that the front and the back, I'm going to walk back a little bit so you can see the front hip points and the back hip points are at about the same height and not dipping where I'm spilling all of my chi out. So if you join me in a dipping, and that may feel very foreign to you, you'll feel how the knees just lock out and the low back gets really cramped. If we tend to stand more with the hips shifted forward, our rib cage kind of comes to rest down onto our pelvis, so the whole front seam congests. And as we work today, basically from the ribs down to the hips, we want to get balance through this midsection that determines traffic above and below. So now I invite you to come onto your back. And of course, as always, have a blanket or pillow for your head if your head dips back, if your chin is lengthening back. And start in a Shalapi Shavasana. So we did a standing assessment. Take a moment also and do a supine assessment. How much of the low back is on the floor? Well, I should say nothing of it is on the floor, but how high does it feel in relationship to the floor? There should be a little bit of space, but if you can slide a whole hand behind, that could mean that the hip flexors are really tight, and we tend to have a dipping down of the hips. But if you feel your low back on the mat, that means my front seam may be shortened. So we get a lot of cues. Now take your hands to the front hip points and just tuggle from side to side, tuggling gently from side to side. So there's a lot of give in the hips. So we want to expand on this fluidity where all these rubber bands can communicate with one another and do their job. And I invite you to take your arms out to the sides, just slightly higher than the shoulders. And then draw the toes towards your shin, right toes towards the right shin. I'm just going to get a little bit of calf length. And then just let that go. Now let's draw the left toes towards the shin, the left shin. And then letting that go. So just a little ankle flexion. Let's do it one more time on each side. Draw the toes towards the shin, letting it go. Left side, letting that go. Making the movement a little bit bigger. Slide the right heel out. So you're still flexing, but now the hip slides down. And then let that go. Left heel slides down and out. And letting it go. Let's go from side to side. Heel slides down, hip slides down. One more time. Finding just that right amount. Not too much, not too little. Gentle effort, but no strain. As you complete on the left, just pause. And just notice the quality of your legs and your hips. Maybe there's a little bit more connection. On the next in-breath, sliding the right arm back. Little bit length. Take the ribs with you and then let that go. Left side slides back. Letting it slink back. Elbow straighten as the arm goes back. And then exhale, just letting it all relax. Let the head turn or roll as it wants to. Don't try to control. The muscles that we are using also connects to the neck. And as always, I invite you to just close your eyes and just be present with the sensations that may arise. Now, next time you come to the right side, as you reach the arm back, let's add the heel back in so the whole right side elongates and releases. Left side. Heel presses away, back of the hand slides, opposite direction, and then we let it go. Getting length down across the psoas, across the spine, attaches to the spine, crosses through the pelvis, and attaches to the thigh bone. Also get a little bit length on the inner obliques, and of course the QL, quadratus lumborum, those pesky ones in the low back that can get really tight. And then next time you conclude on the left side, I'm going to bend up the knees, bending up the knees, and then draw the arms down to cactus arms. Cactus arms. So we started a little rope today with straight legs, though all movement in our bodies needs to, for healthy movement, to originate at the center. So we're going to start, as we often do now, with our arch and flatten. Let's begin with the arch. As you breathe in, belly expands. And as you exhale, slowly releasing back to neutral. Take a buffer breath, a diaphragmatic breath. And then again, inhale, arch the low back. Let the chin draw down towards the chest. And exhale, slowly journey back to neutral. Take another full breath. One more time, contracting the low back. Balloon and poof the belly. Exhale, slowly release back to neutral. Diaphragmatic breath. And now let's take a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, flattening, hollow out the belly, and draw the pelvic floor up. Inhale, letting this release. Let's take a buffer breath. Diaphragmatic breath in. And exhale, hollowing out, and draw the pelvic floor up. Slowly release. I'll do that one more time. Breath in for nothing. Exhale, hollow out the belly, Uddiyana Bandha. Draw the pelvic floor up, Mula Bandha. Then releasing back to neutral. Now take a breath out for nothing. And we move into the arch again. We begin to combine the two. From the arch, floating back to neutral. In breath for nothing. And exhale. Bellow hollows out, pelvic floor draws up. So the pelvic floor is an integral part of pelvic stability. It's part of your core. And too much or too little is equally troublesome. So we want to be able to both engage, but also to release. Continue to move between the arch, flatten at a pace that's comfortable for you. Everything balloons and expands on the in-breath. Sense of neutral as you draw back. Diaphragmatic buffer breath. And exhale. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, hollowing out. One more time. Arching. Only the low back facilitates. And flattening with the addition of the pelvic floor. And as you return to neutral, let's slide the legs out, relax the arms in a way that's comfortable for your body. And observe, listening inward with your breath. Bending up the knees again. Let's take the hands behind the head, or if this is uncomfortable, the goalpost that we just did with a strap under the head is available too. Letting the knees just open out to the sides. Like a butterfly. Inhale, arching. Then exhale, draw the knees together, draw the elbows in, curling up. Inhaling, head comes down, keep the knees drawing in, everything to the center line. Lift the shoulders, and then slowly release elbows and knees out to the sides. Buffer breath. And then inhale, we arch again. And exhale, drawing knees together, elbows in, curling up, squeezing everything to the center line. Releasing first the head. Lift the shoulders. And again, fanning your elbows and knees out. Buffer breath. Again, inhale, arch. And exhale, flatten, curling up. Squeeze everything to the center line. Madhya, center, mid. Releasing down the head first, lift. And now we move away from the center line, broadening. Buffer breath. One more time. Arch. And exhale. Flatten. Feel how that pulls the knees in. Facilitates curling up. Releasing down. Keep squeezing to the midline. First lift the shoulders. And then taking it down. Slowly and controlled. Release the arms, slide the legs long. And keep the arms out to a T. Out to the side, palms facing up. Rolling the legs in and out. Rolling the legs in and out. A little sweeping motion. Lubricating the labrum, the hip joint. Sweep, 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 sweep. And then our fallen tree, I call it that, that's my name. Rolling the right leg in and let the movement originate at the hip, not from the foot. Roll the leg out, away from midline, and then just slide the heel up. So knee is now dropped out to the side. Slide the leg back out long again. And roll the leg in. Rolling it out. Slide the heel up. So don't push or force, just let it go as high as it goes. And we slide it back out again. Once out, we roll it in. We roll it out. We slide again. Each time we might come up a little bit higher. Just moving at a pace, steady, fluid. So bending up the knee as you slide the leg up. So the heel stays on the same trajectory, just coming right up along the inseam of your left leg. So a fallen tree is what I think of, like a tree pose. In an external, slide the leg out. Slide it long. Back and forth. When your knee can't or your heel can't come up any high, let's begin to dip the knee across the center line. So there's a little arch. We inhale, back over, sliding long again. You don't have to worry too much about matching the breath, keeping the movement smooth and easy. Dipping across. Coming back to neutral. And if it's available, let your nose travel opposite of the knee. So always looking in the opposite direction. As your knee. As you dip across, let there be a little bit more reach out through your right arm, palm, and fingers. So creating more spaciousness on the right side, reaching out through the arm, palm, and fingers. Just rolling about. I know. This is where it really becomes true. You have to do it to experience it. You can't read about the benefits and go, yeah, got that. It's only through the doing. Just like yoga. Let's do it one more time. And then as you come to rest, let's just take a buffer pause here. Let everything become still. Draw the arms down. And then sense your right side of your body. Sense your left side. How are they resting on the floor? Let's get on with it. And we'll do the left. Slide the arms up. And again, begin by simply rolling the left leg in towards the right, rolling it out, and sliding the leg up with the knee out to the side. So the heel stays right at the inseam of the right leg. Just the leg. If you want to add the head at this point, go right ahead or wait. How does this hip feel compared to the other side? Is this your easy side? Or is this the side that needs a little bit more help? Once you've gone as high as it's available, begin the dip. Dipping across, foot stays down. Coming all the way back again, sliding back out. Nose opposite of knee. And as you dip across, reaching out through your left arm, palm, and fingers. Getting the heart sutra, the heart and the lungs and the pericardium all connects across. So if there is tightness anywhere along this line, it hinders our respiratory system and our cardiovascular system. So simple and yet so powerful. Do it one more time. And again, just pause as you return to neutral. And sense again the midline, the right side, left side, the hips, the low back, the shoulders. Bending up the knees. I'm going to roll onto the right side. So we'll start with the clamshell. On Monday, we started with the obliques, but the clamshell, that works right around the hip. So you can take your hand to the outer bum, the top one, and my knees are angled down, so not in the 90-90, more like a, what is that going to be, 60? With my heels lining up with my tush. My heels are lining up with my tush. And then as you inhale, lifting the top leg, you feel your outer bum engaging, slowly releasing down. lifting, muscles contracting, and slowly releasing down. Again, just close your eyes and focus, really concentrate. What are the muscles that are engaging? Are there jumps and jitters as you slowly lower down? Are there other muscles that are trying to help out? Like your jaw or your neck? So similar to what we did in the butterfly crunch, except now we work or target just these guys, gluteus medius, the piriformis, a little bit of gluteus minimus. And these guys can come really lazy, and then they just sort of atrophy and fade. One more time. Slowly, 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 lower down. Now let's pull the knees up into the 90-90 formation, 90 at the hips, 90 at the knees. This time you can place a hand on your waist, because that's where the internal obliques are, the ones that we really want to make sure that we're using. If you feel the contraction in the back of your thighs, the hamstrings, you may be pulling the heel towards the glutes as you lift the heel up. So just be really mindful. So you inhale, let's lift the foot. Are you feeling muscles contracting under your hand? And then slowly releasing back down. Lifting. And lowering down. Take a buffer breath, which can be really helpful if we begin just to bang out, as in a physical therapy protocol. You gotta do 200 reps, 30 times. I'm exaggerating, but that's what it feels like. Here, move with focus. Focus and intention. Let's do one more. And now, the Iliotibial Band. Take the leg long, knees are stacked, and then draw the hips down and away from the shoulders, so not rounding, but keep the sideways long. So the Iliotibial Band is from the hips all the way down across the knee. So that's why we need to straighten the leg for this one. If we bend the knee, we won't get the full length of it. You can feel it right here in the front groin. The little dude, Tensor Fasciae Latae, is the muscle that is going to help out with this movement. I call it the grabber for short. Take a breath in and exhale, we lift. And then we count to 12. This is where this gets a little ugly, but come down faster if you need to. Counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Landfall. Buffer breath. Now you may find this is just too intense, in which case don't lift so high or come down faster. Don't work with pain. Let's do it one more time. Here's the little dude, Tensor Fasciae Latae. And we lift again. Lift the leg. Lift the leg. It's a big lever, I know. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And releasing. Let's take the knees down. Keep your bottom leg a little bent, and we'll straighten out the top leg. And we'll again work on this whole outer seam. So you're laying in a straight line. And then lifting the top leg again. So we take the hamstrings out here. So now the leg's straight down, not out in front, it's straight down as if you were standing in a mountain pose with one leg bent up. And we're gonna lift. And you feel right now we're adding a little bit more glute work to this work. And we lower down, slow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pull, everything releases. So it just helps me a little bit with balance when I bend up my right leg. Keeping both legs straight, you're gonna work on staying right on your side. So just let this be a little kickstand. With straight legs, so the psoas is held long in this, not engaged as it is when out in front. And you can use your top hand again for balance. Let's do it one more time. Lifting. Just so it's about parallel with the ground. So I'm not really disturbing my pelvis. And then slowly releasing down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whew. Now let's find our way onto the back. And again, sense. Right side, left side. We work the left, can you tell? Notice your breath and your left side versus the right side. And how your body is resting on the mat. Alrighty then, other side. So I'll spin around. And we start it with the clamshell, where the knees are bent up, my heels are, I can see that lining up with my tush. If it's painful, of course, for your hip, support it with something. So for the clamshell, if not sure that your muscles are actually engaged, just use your hands for feedback. Let's lift the top knee, the right knee up. And then slowly releasing down. So you either support your head on your arm or a blanket or pillow so that it is held in a neutral position, but not dropping, not straining the neck. Slow and easy. Let everything pool in between. Notice the jumps and jitters. If this is your easy side, then how does this feel different? If this is your hard side, how does it feel different? And then next time you come down, pause, pulling, and let's draw the knees up. Taking the hand again to the waist, just for feedback. And then lifting your right foot towards the sky. Again, notice if you're pulling it towards the hip so that you maintain the 90-degree behind the knee, 90-degree angle behind the knee, not shortening it. And our body has all these little compensatory movement patterns that we've gotten so used to that we don't notice it. So staying vigilant when we do this work, drawing the body as much into a neutral state so we can isolate these muscles and bring them back on board. So again, are your muscles firing on your right side, your right waist? So the obliques, fascinating muscle groups. They do two things. They both shorten the lateral side, but they also rotate. But that's more about that next week. Lifting again. Just one more time. Lifting straight up. Hip is drawing up towards the armpit. That's the oblique's job. Then it slowly lengthens back out as the foot comes down. All right, we've gotten to the Iliotibial Band. Taking the foot out in front. And right at the outer hip crease, that's where the tensor fasciae latae is. It's about the size of, well, maybe a little bit bigger than your thumb, but it ain't a big muscle. So we are asking a lot of it right now. Draw the hips down away from the shoulders, be all the way up on your right hip. And then as you inhale, lift the leg. 10, 12 inches maybe. But be kind, counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Pulling. I know, one more time. When you're ready, hips down and lifting. And slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and landfall. Sweep the leg down, take it long. Still all the way up on your left side. And now without flexion at the hip, keep the lower abdomen drawing in and up. And then inhale, lifting the leg without disturbing the pelvis. So not a lot of flexibility here for range of movement is what I'm trying to say. So about parallel, maybe just a hair higher, but that's it. And slowly lower down. Slowly lower down. I did count on those too, didn't I? So counting from 5 and down, 4, 3, 2, 1. When the iliotibial band gets really tight on the outer hip, trochanteric bursitis, a common diagnosis for postmenopausal women. I don't know who they are. Just kidding. Well, so to get space around this outer hip, this is really good for that one too, along with the clamshell. Let's do it again. Lifting the leg up. Once the hip or pelvis begins to move, that's your stop point. And from here, let me count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are down. Cool. And then slowly rolling onto your back again. And as you relax the legs, back seam, center line assess. Is there a sense of widening across the midline? A sense of more space? Bending up the knees again. And then the hip slides. So now working with the obliques in a similar way as we did on the side, except we add the QL, quadratus lumborum. So square lumbar muscle literally translates to it on your back, also known as the hip hikers. So as you draw the right hip up towards the armpit, you feel a shortening on the right side. And then slowly release back. Left hip slides up, and you can place your fingertips right on your hip points on the front, and you can feel how your hips are shifting. This is what has to happen for a normal gait. Now maintain a little bit of a flattening of your spine, not aggressively, but just a sense of a slight pulling up of the lower abdomen. And then contracting one side, letting it release. Contracting the other. Notice the hip points moving opposite of one another. So as one hip draws up, the other draws down. You may feel that one side is easier to contract than the other. That will be the case, especially if there is some lumbar scoliosis, curvature, lateral curvature of the spine. So from here, let's explore now, as you finish on the left side, we'll explore the opposite movement, meaning this was a horizontal movement. So now we'll do the vertical movement. Again, with your hands on the hip points, press the right hip into the floor, and then let that release. Press the left hip down. Now notice as you press the left hip down, does the right hip come up a little bit? So again, we want this mobility in the pelvis, even though we think of it as a basin. We have the sacral joints on the back, one on each side of the sacrum, the 5 fused bones. But we also have a joint in the front, the pubic symphosium, to be exact. So at the pubic bone, we have a joint too. And so these 3 joints, in addition, of course, to the hip joint, allows for enough mobility in the pelvic bowl that we can move, we can walk, at least in theory, with ease and grace. So now, putting all these together, vertical and horizontal, and for me, I think of my hips being sort of the pedal of the bike. And then let's begin by hiking the right hip up towards the shoulder. So drawing to the shoulder, that is the horizontal movement. Now I'm going to lift the right hip up. As the left goes down, I'm going to pedal the right hip forward, which means my left hip comes up. So I'm just drawing circles with my hip. Because I'm right dominant, it's easier for me to focus on the right side. So if you are right dominant, I invite you to switch to the left, and vice versa. If you are left dominant, bring your mind to the right side. It may not feel nearly as smooth moving this way. So there's a very little shifting of the knees in relationship to one another, but the movement is from the hips. Now let's go in the opposite direction. So pedal backwards. Pedaling backwards, both the horizontal slide and the lifting and shifting. And whew, let's let that go. Sliding the legs out. We've arrived at the grand finale, our psoas release. Let's take the right hand behind the head. And then take the left knee in, taking the left knee in. Inhale, let's arch the low back. Your left knee will pull away. It's not a big movement. And then exhale, flattening the low back. Lift the head, lift your right leg, low back presses down. And then slowly release the head down. Keep reaching out through the right foot, and then release the right leg down. Hold the low back down. Hold the low back down. Once down, everything pulls. Rolling your right leg slightly out to the side, so just letting it flop. So the toes are now pointing out at a maybe not quite 45-degree angle, but more outward, and that helps us get a different group of fibers in the psoas. So again, let's take a breath in and arch. Knee pulls the shoulder down a little bit. On the left, we exhale, flatten. And we support the head up, leg lift. Keep pressing out through the big toe out. Let the head come down. And lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Take the leg down, releasing the left leg, sliding it long. And the awareness where you may feel it the most is the inner groins and also the lower abdomen. Front and inner groins and abdomen. The psoas does not have the sensory nerves that our skin has, so it doesn't feel, or other muscles, also more surface muscle. The release feels much more subtle. Let's switch to the other side. First, toes pointing straight up. Arching. And exhale, flattening. Support the head as you curl up. Lift the leg, lift the leg. Low back stays down. Keep it down. We lower the head down. Reach out through the big toe mountain. Lower, 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 lower. Get really long in the inseam. And the leg comes down. Buffer breath. So still holding on to the right knee. Rolling now the leg out to the side. Rolling your straight leg out to the side. So different fibers. Inhale, we arch again. And exhale, flattening. Let the head come up. And then lift. Left leg. Lowering. Spine down slowly. That gets the upper fibers of the psoas. Reach out through the inseam. Get the leg as long as you can as you slowly take it to the floor. Releasing. Your bent knee down, the right leg, all the way down. Let's sweep the legs again. Rolling in, rolling out. As you do gentle sweep, breathing deeply into your belly. Diaphragmatic breath. And then let's slowly bend up the knees. Rolling over onto one side. Breath here, and then take your time to sit up and then also stand up again. So we are going to bookend it with another assessment today and just see if we feel different in how we stand, and also maybe as we walk, how do our feet and legs feel? Notice, is the weight maybe in the heels more now? Is the weight more evenly distributed across the bottom of the foot? So now I will unmute everybody